Self-confidence is not something you simply have. It's not a magical trait bestowed upon the lucky few. It is something you cultivate brick by brick through effort, discipline, and honest confrontation with yourself. People often talk about confidence as though it's some mystical force, a kind of innate charisma that can't be taught or learned. But that's wrong. Confidence is competence in action. It's the result of knowing you've done the hard things, faced your fears, and earned your place in the world. You see, the first thing we need to understand about self-confidence is that it's grounded in responsibility. If you shirk responsibility, you erode your confidence because deep down, you know you're not living up to your potential. You can't fake that to yourself. It's as if there's a part of you always watching, always keeping score, and when you cut corners or avoid challenges, that part of you keeps track. And here's the brutal truth. The more you avoid discomfort, the less confident you become, because you teach yourself that you can't handle the hard things. Now, let's be clear, self-confidence is not arrogance. Arrogance is hollow. It's a mask people wear to hide their insecurities. True confidence, on the other hand, is quiet. It's unshakable because it's earned. And how do you earn it? You aim at something meaningful. You take on challenges, especially the ones you're afraid of. You start small if you have to, but you start, because every time you confront what scares you and come out the other side, you teach yourself, I can do this. And think about it this way, life is hard. It's messy, unpredictable, and often unfair. And if you don't build yourself into someone who can navigate that chaos, you'll be swept away by it. Self-confidence isn't about pretending the storm doesn't exist. It's about knowing you can stand in the middle of it and hold your ground. But here's the catch, you can't lie to yourself. Confidence requires brutal honesty. You need to look in the mirror and ask, am I doing what I should be doing? Am I avoiding what I know I need to face? If the answer is no, that's where you start. You don't need to be perfect, but you need to be aiming. Set a goal, something that matters to you, and move toward it, even if you stumble along the way. Progress, no matter how small, builds confidence. Now, there's another important piece to this puzzle, competence. You don't get confident by hoping for it. You get confident by getting good at something. Pick a skill, a craft, a discipline, anything, and pour yourself into it. Mastery breeds confidence because it gives you proof of your capability. When you've put in the hours, when you've failed and learned and improved, you carry that with you. It's no longer a question of, can I do this, but how well can I do it? And let's talk about failure. So many people are paralyzed by the fear of failing, as if failing is the end of the world. But failure is inevitable. It's how we learn. It's how we grow. Every time you fail, you gather data. You figure out what works and what doesn't. And more importantly, you prove to yourself that you can get back up. Resilience is a cornerstone of self-confidence. It's not about never falling, it's about always getting back up. Finally, self-confidence is about alignment. It's about aligning your actions with your values, your potential, and your purpose. When you're living a life that's true to who you are, when you're pursuing goals that matter to you, confidence follows. It's a byproduct of integrity. And that's a hard thing to achieve because it requires courage. It requires you to face uncomfortable truths, to admit where you've fallen short, and to take steps to correct course. So if you want to build self-confidence, don't wait for it to magically appear. Start where you are. Take responsibility for your life, set meaningful goals, develop competence, embrace failure, and live in alignment with your values. Because when you do that, when you confront life's challenges head on, you don't just build confidence. You become someone you can respect. And that is the foundation of true self-confidence. Self-confidence is not a trait that people are simply born with. It is a skill, one that must be carefully nurtured and developed over time. While some individuals might appear naturally confident, what we often overlook is the foundation of effort, experience, and growth beneath that surface. Self-confidence is not a gift granted by chance. It is earned through deliberate action and commitment to self-improvement. At its core, self-confidence is the product of choices, behavior, and the willingness to engage with life's challenges, no matter how daunting they may seem. A common misconception about confidence is that it's something you either have or don't have, as though it were a fixed trait of personality. This belief can be deeply discouraging because it suggests that those who struggle with self-doubt are somehow inherently lacking. However, this perspective fails to acknowledge a crucial truth. Self-confidence is a skill that can be cultivated by anyone willing to do the work. Much like building physical strength requires regular exercise, building confidence requires consistent mental and emotional engagement with the tasks and situations that challenge you. Developing confidence begins with taking responsibility for your own life. When you avoid responsibility, when you let fear or uncertainty dictate your choices, you send a powerful message to yourself that you are incapable, weak, or unprepared to face the realities of life. This avoidance undermines confidence because it reinforces a pattern of helplessness. The more you avoid, the more you believe you cannot handle what lies ahead. On the other hand, when you take ownership of your actions, choices, and outcomes, you start to shift that narrative. By stepping forward, even in small ways, you begin to prove to yourself that you are capable of dealing with what life demands. The process of building self-confidence also involves acknowledging that it cannot be faked, not to yourself at least. You cannot simply will yourself into feeling confident without the foundation of real effort to support it. Confidence grows when it is based on reality, on the knowledge that you have faced challenges, put in the necessary work, and overcome obstacles. It is not a superficial layer of self-assurance designed to impress others. It is a deeply rooted belief in your own ability to navigate the complexities of life. That belief, however, is not something you are born with. It is something you create through consistent action. Furthermore, confidence is not about never feeling fear or uncertainty. Those emotions are natural and inevitable. The difference is in how you respond to them. A confident person feels the same doubts as anyone else, but they do not let those doubts dictate their behavior. Instead, they confront what scares them, often starting with small steps and gradually building their way toward greater challenges. This process, repeated over time, strengthens their sense of self-trust. It teaches them that even in the face of discomfort or fear, they are capable of moving forward. Ultimately, self-confidence is not something external that others can give to you, nor is it a passive quality that you can simply wait to discover within yourself. It is an active, dynamic process of growth, one that requires effort, courage, and perseverance. Every step you take toward facing life's challenges, no matter how small, builds a foundation of confidence that becomes increasingly unshakable over time. When you embrace the idea that self-confidence is built not innate, you empower yourself to take control of your own growth and create a life of greater assurance and fulfillment. Competence is the foundation upon which true self-confidence is built. Without a sense of competence, confidence remains shallow, unsteady, and ultimately fragile. Confidence is not simply the belief that you can achieve something. It is the knowledge, backed by experience and skill, that you have the capability to succeed. This knowledge is not derived from wishful thinking or vague affirmations. It is earned through action, practice, and the pursuit of mastery in meaningful areas of life. Confidence without competence is merely arrogance, a hollow pretense that quickly collapses under pressure. True confidence, on the other hand, is grounded in the reality of what you have proven to yourself you can do. The connection between competence and confidence lies in the sense of control and preparedness that comes from skill development. When you invest the time and effort to learn and improve, you create a reservoir of knowledge and experience that you can draw upon in challenging situations. This is what separates genuine confidence from the illusion of it. A person who has put in the work to master a skill does not have to rely on bravado or exaggerated self-belief. They know on a fundamental level that they can handle what is required. This certainly becomes a source of strength that is difficult to shake, even in the face of adversity. Developing competence is not always easy, and it is rarely instantaneous. It requires sustained effort, patience, and a willingness to embrace the learning process, which often includes failure and setbacks. These challenges are not signs of inadequacy, but rather essential components of growth. Each failure provides valuable feedback, teaching you what does not work and guiding you toward what does. Over time, these small lessons accumulate, gradually refining your skills and deepening your sense of competence. With each step forward, your confidence grows not because you are pretending to be capable, but because you have earned the right to believe in yourself through hard work. One of the most empowering aspects of building competence is that it creates a positive feedback loop. As you improve at something, you begin to see the results of your efforts, which reinforces your belief in your ability to succeed. This in turn motivates you to continue striving for further improvement. The more competent you become, the more confident you feel, and the more willing you are to take on new challenges. This cycle of growth and reinforcement not only enhances your skills, but also strengthens your overall sense of self-worth. Moreover, competence is not limited to technical skills or professional achievements. It applies to every area of life: relationships, decision-making, communication, and even personal resilience. When you take the time to cultivate competence in these areas, you build a broader foundation for confidence that extends beyond specific tasks or goals. You begin to trust yourself more deeply, knowing that you have the ability to navigate life's complexities with skill and determination. Ultimately, competence is the pathway to authentic confidence. It provides you with tangible proof of your abilities, allowing you to face challenges with a sense of assurance that is rooted in reality. It is not something that can be faked or shortcut. It must be earned through effort, persistence, and a commitment to growth. When you invest in building competence, You are not just acquiring skills, you are laying the groundwork for a lasting and unshakable belief in yourself. This belief becomes a cornerstone of your identity, empowering you to approach life with clarity, courage, and a sense of purpose. Failure is often seen as something to be avoided, a source of shame or proof of inadequacy. But this perception is not only unhelpful, it is deeply flawed. Failure is, in fact, one of the most powerful tools for learning and growth. It is not the opposite of success, but an essential part of the journey toward it. The relationship between failure and self-confidence is not as contradictory as it might appear. In truth, failure plays a critical role in building authentic confidence. Each failure presents an opportunity to learn, adapt, and strengthen your belief in your ability to overcome challenges. How you approach failure can define your capacity to grow and, ultimately, your sense of self-worth. Failure forces you to confront the gap between where you are and where you want to be. This confrontation is not comfortable, but it is necessary. It provides you with clarity about what isn't working, allowing you to adjust your approach and refine your methods. People often view failure as a verdict, a final judgment on their abilities. However, this mindset is fundamentally limiting. Failure is not the end of the road, but a step along the way, a moment of feedback that offers invaluable insights. When you embrace failure as part of the process, it ceases to be something to fear and becomes a catalyst for growth. What builds confidence through failure is not the failure itself, but your ability to recover from it. Every time you fail and choose to try again, you reinforce the belief that you are resilient and capable of facing difficulties. This resilience is what separates those who develop self-confidence from those who allow failure to diminish them. Failure tests your resolve, and your response to it determines whether you grow stronger or retreat into self-doubt. When you push through setbacks and keep moving forward, you send yourself a powerful message. You are someone who doesn't give up, no matter how hard things get. Another critical aspect of failure is that it forces you to confront your fear of imperfection. Many people avoid taking risks or pursuing ambitious goals because they are afraid of failing. This avoidance creates a cycle of stagnation, where the fear of failure prevents growth and leaves confidence undeveloped. The irony is that failure is often the very thing that helps you realize your potential. When you allow yourself to fail, you gain experience, and with experience comes a deeper understanding of what you're capable of achieving. Each failure you face and overcome contributes to a growing sense of self-efficacy, the belief that you can influence outcomes and take control of your life. Failure also humanizes the process of success. It reminds you that everyone who has ever achieved something meaningful has faced setbacks along the way. No one is immune to failure, and no one achieves greatness without enduring it. Recognizing this universal truth can be liberating. It allows you to stop comparing yourself to an impossible ideal and focus on your own journey. You begin to see failure not as a personal flaw, but as a shared experience that connects you to others striving for growth. Ultimately, failure is a teacher, and confidence is the result of learning from its lessons. The more willing you are to face failure, the more opportunities you give yourself to grow stronger and more capable. Each failure becomes a stepping stone, a chance to prove to yourself that you can adapt, persevere, and succeed. This process of facing and overcoming failure is what builds true, lasting confidence. It's not about avoiding failure or pretending it doesn't exist. It's about embracing it, learning from it, and using it as fuel for your progress. In the end, failure is not something to fear, but a vital part of becoming the person you aspire to be. Self-confidence is deeply tied to living in alignment with your values, your potential, and your purpose. When your actions reflect your core beliefs and the goals that genuinely matter to you, confidence becomes a natural byproduct. This alignment creates a sense of integrity, a feeling that who you are on the inside matches how you behave on the outside. When your life feels coherent in this way, you build a foundation of trust within yourself. This trust is essential for self-confidence because it reassures you that you are living authentically and pursuing a path that feels meaningful and true. Living in alignment with your values requires a deep understanding of what truly matters to you. This is not always an easy task. Many people adopt values from external sources, family, society, or peers without questioning whether those values resonate with their authentic selves. When you act based on borrowed beliefs or societal expectations that don't align with who you really are, you create a disconnect between your inner world and your outward actions. This disconnect can erode self-confidence because on some level, you know that you're not being true to yourself. Authentic confidence can only emerge when your actions are grounded in principles and aspirations that genuinely reflect your identity. One of the challenges of living in alignment with your values is that it often requires courage. Staying true to yourself means making difficult decisions, standing firm in the face of external pressure, and sometimes going against the grain of what others expect from you. This can be uncomfortable, but it is essential for building confidence. When you act in accordance with your values, even when it's hard, You demonstrate to yourself that you are capable of prioritizing what matters most. Each time you do this, you strengthen your sense of integrity and reinforce the belief that you can trust yourself to make the right choices, even in challenging circumstances. Alignment also means pursuing goals that are meaningful to you rather than chasing superficial achievements for external validation. It's tempting to seek confidence through accomplishments that others will admire, such as status, wealth, or recognition, but these pursuits often leave people feeling empty. Genuine confidence comes from knowing that the goals you're working toward have personal significance. When your efforts are directed towards something you truly care about, you're more likely to persevere through difficulties and find fulfillment in the process, regardless of external approval. Another crucial aspect of alignment is self-awareness. You need to regularly evaluate your life to ensure that your actions, priorities, and goals remain consistent with your evolving values. This requires introspection and a willingness to admit when you've strayed off course. Adjusting your path when necessary is not a sign of weakness, but a demonstration of strength and commitment to living authentically. This adaptability allows you to maintain a sense of alignment over time, which in turn reinforces your self-confidence. Ultimately, living in alignment with your values is about being honest with yourself. It's about recognizing what truly matters and committing to a life that reflects those priorities. This honesty creates a profound sense of self-respect, which is the cornerstone of lasting confidence. When your actions align with your values, you're not only building a life that feels meaningful, you're also building a version of yourself that you can be proud of. This pride is not based on external validation, but on the quiet, steady assurance that comes from knowing you are living authentically. Confidence rooted in alignment is unshakable because it is tied to the deepest parts of who you are. It allows you to face challenges with clarity and purpose, knowing that no matter what happens, you are living a life that is true to yourself. Progress, no matter how small, is a powerful force in building self-confidence. Confidence is not created in an instant or as the result of a single monumental achievement. Instead, it is the product of steady, incremental improvements over time. Each small step forward contributes to a growing sense of self-assurance, reinforcing the belief that you are capable of handling challenges and achieving your goals. This process of gradual progress might seem insignificant at first, but it creates momentum that compounds over time, leading to transformative change and a deep, lasting sense of confidence. One of the reasons small progress is so effective is that it builds trust in yourself. When you commit to taking action, even in the smallest ways, and follow through on those commitments, you prove to yourself that you are reliable. This reliability is a cornerstone of self-confidence because it creates a sense of control over your own life. You begin to trust that you can set a goal, take the necessary steps, and achieve meaningful results. This trust is self-reinforcing. The more you act in alignment with your intentions, the more confident you become in your ability to continue doing so. Small progress also helps to break down overwhelming tasks into manageable pieces. One of the biggest barriers to confidence is the feeling of being paralyzed by the magnitude of a goal or challenge. When something feels too large or too difficult, it can lead to procrastination, avoidance, and the cycle of self-doubt. However, when you focus on small, achievable actions, you make the process less intimidating. Each completed step, no matter how minor, provides a sense of accomplishment that fuels your motivation to keep going. Over time, these small victories add up, enabling you to tackle larger challenges with greater confidence. Another key benefit of focusing on incremental progress is that it creates a sense of momentum. When you consistently take small steps forward, you build a rhythm of action that propels you toward your goals. This momentum helps to overcome inertia, making it easier to continue moving forward even when you encounter setbacks or obstacles. Momentum also reinforces a growth-oriented mindset, encouraging you to view challenges as opportunities to learn and improve rather than as insurmountable barriers. Progress, no matter how small, also has a psychological impact. It shifts your focus from what you lack or what feels impossible to what you are actively achieving. This shift in perspective is crucial for building self-confidence because it helps you recognize your own capability and resilience. Instead of dwelling on failures or unmet expectations, you begin to celebrate your efforts and accomplishments. This positive reinforcement strengthens your belief in yourself and motivates you to keep striving for more. It's important to recognize that small progress doesn't mean settling for mediocrity or avoiding ambitious goals. Rather, it's about understanding that even the most significant achievements are built on a foundation of consistent effort and small, deliberate steps. By embracing this mindset, you give yourself permission to start where you are without waiting for the perfect moment or ideal conditions. This willingness to take action, even when the path ahead is unclear, is itself a form of confidence. It demonstrates faith in your ability to figure things out as you go, which is one of the most empowering beliefs you can cultivate. Ultimately, small progress is the engine that drives self-confidence. It teaches you that growth is possible, that challenges can be overcome, and that you have the power to shape your own life. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a victory that builds upon the last, creating a steady upward trajectory. Over time, these incremental gains transform not only your skills and achievements, but also your perception of yourself. You come to see yourself as someone who takes action, follows through, and continually moves closer to your goals. This self-perception becomes the foundation for a deep, unshakable confidence that empowers you to pursue even greater challenges and aspirations.